Hello everybody, Dokkan Assets here. Today we are back with another Dragon Ball figure news video. And ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special one for you. Not only do we have a lot to cover today, as you can see by all of the different tabs that we have up at the top here. Of course, this is our NYCC recap episode for the last 2 weeks of Dragon Ball figure news. Obviously, I do these videos bi-weekly, or at least the best that I can bi-weekly. Sometimes it doesn't always exactly work out that it's 2 weeks in between, but not only is it actually a little bit shorter in between the last video than 2 weeks, but because of NYCC, New York City Comic-Con happening over this weekend, we have a ton of info to go over regardless. I knew that this was going to be a big episode because it always is with NYCC, so let's buckle up and get started. A lot of the NYCC info, by the way, will be towards the middle and the end of the video because we have some stuff to talk about before we get to that. That obviously happened before NYCC occurred. As well, of course, we're starting off on dbzfigures.com, and before I get into the big boy news, starting us off with actually an update on the Ichibang Kuji from last week that we discussed. Definitely go check out my Orange Piccolo unboxing that I did this weekend. I know that I am very late on this one. I honestly should have uploaded it a little while ago, but your boy was busy and did not have time to edit it and whatnot and record it and stuff until semi-recently, so it went up this weekend. So definitely go check it out, though. I am actually really happy with how the video turned out, and man, that's a good figure right there. So definitely go watch that after this video if you have not. Now, we do have the Ichibang Kuji up for pre-order, actually, on Big Bad Toy Store. The Dragon Ball World Tournament Ichibang Kuji that we talked about last time. I am actually very excited for this because we actually got the information about this Ichibang Kuji, and we're actually going to talk about it a little bit later in the video. But get excited because the prices on these bad boys, very, very good. Some of this stuff we are going to talk about right now on dbzfigures.com, and some of it will kind of come back to it and reference it once we go to it in the video, because there's a lot to talk about today. We do have another one of these funny clear acrylic stands. If you guys are unfamiliar with these, they have been kind of pumping these out. Wow, I can't believe the pre-orders are sold out for this thing. That's crazy. The Kame Mark acrylic logo display, the EX exclusive one, is an official item from Bandai, and it is, oh man, I just can't believe the price of this thing. $31.99 for this clear little, what was I gonna call it, bro? Acrylic? Acrylic plastic stand. Now, the reason why this is so egregious is because this thing is 2.4 inches tall, which is kind of insane. They have been doing these clear acrylic stands for a little while now from Bandai officially, where it's different Dragon Ball logos and symbols and stuff like that. And the whole point is that it's supposed to be able to, you know, make your Dragon Ball collection pop and kind of have these little logos and stuff like that. Like if we look up this, hopefully this will come up with just the Dragon Ball stuff. Okay, it's not, but it is basically the same thing, right? Funny enough, there is, oh, this is the other one. Apparently they charged it more since last time, unless this is just a reduced price from Big Bad Toy Store. But yeah, like they did even King Piccolo's logo. You can see that they've been doing a bunch of different series as well. They have a Dragon Ball GT one. I know for a fact they have a Dragon Ball Z one. So they've been doing these, right, for a little while now. But man, these prices are just so ridiculous. I just can't see anybody justifying it for 2.4 inches tall. Like if this thing was huge, then I could see it, right? But not at that size, unfortunately. I think it's a great concept, but it's kind of held back by the price for me personally. I thought this was just a little bit interesting. I suppose this technically isn't news per se about like something new, but I thought that this would just be something interesting to mention. Apparently, this is a nice little collage from Big Bad Toy Store that features the top selling figures on Big Bad Toy Store right now, which is really interesting. I'm kind of surprised at these picks, to be honest. Like some of them kind of don't surprise me, but some of them do, right? So obviously all of these, and apparently Krillin, by the way, is #1, which is kind of insane, but We have Krillin, right? The pre-orders for the upcoming Super Saiyan Goku, right? The brand new one from Namek. We have a Funko Pop Kami in the background there, which... what? Like, how did he make it in the top 10, bro? Who invited my mans? We have the upcoming, as well, History Box, Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. I suppose that's not too surprising, considering we're still kind of in lingering superhero hype. And obviously, that is a Gohan figure there. The neon sign for the Dragon Ball, kind of interesting that that also made it in there. The Imagination Works Vegeta, that one kind of surprises me, but to be fair, I know a lot of websites have been kind of lowering the price on that bad boy, so I suppose that that makes sense, right? If that is the case. Cell as well, right? The Imperfect Cell SH Figure Arts, the GX Materia Piccolo, and the SH Figure Arts Super Boo, which is really interesting. So it's just kind of interesting to see what kind of figures that people are buying, right? This is the type of thing that I feel like Bandai should take notes on and make more stuff like what's selling well, you know what I mean? It's just very interesting to see. I think it also helps that, of course, some of these items are on the cheaper side, right? Like Krillin is only a $35 figure. Gohan's like 26 or something like that. Piccolo, the GX Materia one, is around that price too. Though to be fair, I guess, besides the Funko Pop, and I don't know how much the neon sign is, the Imagination Works, Vegeta and Super Boo and Imperfect Cell are not like super cheap. So kind of interesting to see though, right? To know what kinds of things Dragon Ball fans are interested in. Speaking of which, at NYCC, unfortunately, there wasn't any crazy giveaways, but for the giveaways that were there, if you went to the Dragon Ball special booth, you got the Dragon Ball Superhero bag, right, that has the logo, or the logo, well, it does have the logo on the side of Dragon Ball, but it has the Dragon Ball Superhero art that I believe is from the Japanese DVD on the bag, as well as a paper headband of Gohan Beast's hair, which I think they had last year too. And if you go to the special Dragon Ball panel, which has already passed by now, you got a special Dragon Ball t-shirt, which I believe on the back was the Dragon Ball Daima design of Kid Goku with the power pole, and a Dragon Ball Daima badge as well. And some cards from the Dragon Ball Super Fusion World card game, which is the brand new one. So that's pretty cool. I honestly, if anybody could get me this... or like show me a place to buy it. I've always wanted this bag because I love superhero, and I would love to have this thing on my wall because I love that art. We will talk about these a little bit later. I'm going to pull up this tab because I want to go back to this when we look at the HD images of these upcoming Dragon Stars figures. As you can see, Gotenks and Super Boo there. But to move on from that before we get back to it later, that was mental gymnastics if I've ever heard it. The Jump calendar release for October is here. So a bunch of stuff is actually coming out this month in Japan, right? Oh, look at the little Spider-Man there. So below are figure releases. I think I was going to say reveals, and my brain changed it to releases. Keep in mind that these releases are Japan only, and only the ones that make it stateside may take an additional month or two. So we had a bunch of figures get re-released for SH Figure Arts. I believe we talked about this in a previous video. All of these figures are getting re-released, assuming because they're so popular. Super Saiyan 3 Goku has gotten released a couple times now, because funny enough, I know I picked him up on a re-release. And obviously, it doesn't surprise me that Goku, you know, the just regular base form one would obviously get released, because of course, you know, who doesn't want just, you know, normal Goku in their collection? It's so crazy to me how Krillin's so popular, because if they're re-releasing him, he must be that popular. And people must be buying Shinron. I thought that that figure was a little bit too expensive always. I mean, I've always kind of wanted him, but kind of interesting that they're also deciding to re-release him. The high-grade Broly collection for $200. Oh man, that's gonna be a doozy to see the quality on that when Japanese fans get their hands on that. I have not seen any pictures of that personally, so I think that that isn't coming out like right away in October, because obviously I feel like we would have seen pictures of that already, because obviously we're kind of like halfway through the month. I'm not sure when it comes out in Japan, because obviously if we look at it on Big Bad Toy Store, right, it's just going to say October, unfortunately. Hello, Tamashii Nations. Don't worry, we'll get to you in a minute. The Ichiban show, aka the Ichibang Kuji for the Namek Saga, and the Gohan Beast and Orange Piccolo, of course, which is really, really exciting. Definitely excited to see some hands-on stuff from that from Japanese fans. And we will actually get to see some in-person pictures of them, because they were at New York City Comic-Con, which is cool as well. The boys, Buhan and Vegito, which we've already seen some pictures of in the last video. We will see a couple more in this video. The Matchmaker's Frieza is also releasing this month. And I know a lot of people are really excited for these two. I'm going to have to get those bad boys and do a video on the pair of them for sure. Alright, so moving on to the next page. I know you thought we were done here, didn't you? Don't you worry. So a lot of this we are going to skip actually, because again, we'll kind of come back to it later. But Dragon Ball Weekly News for October 9th, unfortunately, there was nothing too crazy in terms of figure stuff, but kind of related to Dragon Ball, but kind of not. Sandland, right? Beelzebub got a SH Figure Arts figure, and the tank from Sandland also got a release on Premium Bandai, it looks like, so that's kind of interesting. This is pretty cool. I actually did not even see this. I don't really keep up with Funko Pop news, even though I do follow a couple of them on Instagram, like Funko Pop news accounts for Dragon Ball, but to be fair, I like barely ever use Instagram, like once in a blue moon. But nonetheless, if you want to get these guys, right, Funko Pops are always cheap. That's the one thing that I can say about Funko Pops. They're kind of hit or miss on quality. I own a ton of Dragon Ball Funko Pops because I'm a figure collecting crackhead, and I will collect anything that has Goku's face on it. But with these, right, even though the quality can be hit or miss on Funko Pops, personally, I like their style. I think they're cute. And not to mention, sometimes Funko Pops will actually make characters that either don't have a lot of other figure options or just flat out don't have a figure at all. Which is kind of crazy to think, right? Like, there's no full-size driving Piccolo figure and driving Goku. And I know for a fact that Funko has made both of those already. But, as you can see, the full Ginyu Force here is for sale. We'll just click on Ginyu just for the sake of the example here. As you can see, he is actually sold out. But it does look like that you can actually get the full Ginyu Force, and with their poses, they're all in the iconic Ginyu Force poses, so you could definitely do a pretty cool setup of having these guys in the proper Ginyu Force, you know, like full 5-way pose or whatever you would call it. So that's pretty cool. And again, like I said, Funko Pops are always cheap. They never really gone up in price as far as I'm aware anyway. There always have been, like, maybe they were $11.99 before, but now they're $12.99. I'm not sure about that on, like, absolutely positive. But regardless, though, still cheap, fun figures that you can definitely get some good stuff out of. And interestingly enough, apparently there are 3 versions of these Funko Pops. They are available below, but you got the individual regular boxes, the glow-in-the-dark individual boxes, and a regular 5-pack. That's interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay, so I guess, do I want to follow this link? Let's see. Okay, this is just a normal link. Cool. This has them available for, oh, the glow-in-the-dark variants. Okay, oh my gosh, look at cool, though. That's the glow-in-the-dark. That's so funny, dude. Oh my gosh, that's great. That's so funny. Let's see, what do all the glow-in-the-dark ones look like? So this is what Raccoon looks like. His hair and the Scouter lights up. That's pretty cool. A little bit of that, like, a purple effect on the boy there for Birder. That's pretty cool. Chase looks like this, right? It's like the orange on him that will light up. And ironically enough, Ginyu almost seems the most boring when it comes to the glow-in-the-dark. But that is pretty cool, I'm not going to lie. I definitely like that quite a bit. I see, this was just the same link, but just different, I guess. And here on GameStop, you can actually see that they do have a 5-pack for $56.99 if you're a pro member and $60 normal. I think, let me think about this, right? If we're just gonna say like $13 for each, right? So that would be 5. Okay, yeah, so you're already definitely saving money if you're getting the 5-pack, right? Even just doing the mental math of, like, you know, $50 base, and then obviously each of them have like the $3 on the end, so that would be like $9 extra, and you're not including tax on each of them. I know that was mental gymnastics, just trust me. I think you're saving a little bit of money, right? It might not be like a super crazy amount, but you're definitely saving a little bit by getting the 5-pack. So if you do want to get them all, that would definitely be a great way to do it. Apparently this is a GameStop exclusive, getting all of them. So low-key, I might cop that, honestly, because I might actually want to get these, because the Ginyu Force Ichibang Kuji is really expensive, and it's not like the actual poses like this one is, right, where it's the actual, like, Ginyu Force's proper, you know, big stance that they do as a group. So that is pretty cool. Definitely check that out if you are interested and if you are a Funko Pop fan. As well, again, like I said, we'll kind of come back to these later. I'll keep this up here because we're going to talk about the prices in a little bit. But as you can see here, there is a ton of stuff that I know is looking very appetizing for everybody here. So we're actually going to move on to the main section with all of Baggy's tweets, and we'll kind of come back and take a look at these articles from the dbzfigures.com website as we go through our news here, because we'll see some different images from the event, and then we'll cross-reference it with our articles here as well. We also have the Tamashii Nation's official Instagram, Twitter, and the page, ooh, I know, of the official Dragon Ball site to cross-reference some information on that. But before we get to the NYCC information, you guys probably remember I talked about in the last video that there is an upcoming item Gashapon for Dragon Ball, and we did not have a picture of it. I think that's the same thing as what this tweet is. I could be wrong on that. If I am, I apologize. But this is apparently the best picture that Baggy has managed to find. It must just be that they haven't sent out a proper picture yet, and this is just like a very small preview that a website has, because a lot of the time websites will get these super tiny previews like this that are just like, obviously when you look at it as a big image, it's going to look crusty because it's not meant to be looked at this big. But apparently this is the items number 3 set. Will also release in Italy and assuming the US too, probably a couple months later, because we actually have been getting these. From what I'm seeing here, from what I can make out, this is Gohan's hat. This is a computer. I'm assuming this is a capsule core computer. I'm assuming when we see the actual screen, it kind of looks like there's an interchangeable screen or something that is like a feature on this. You know, when we get a clear image, we'll be able to tell. I believe since this is opening up here like this is the rice cooker used with the Mafuba, right? That has the seal on it. That's pretty cool. We have the Saiyan pod that also opens up as part of the gimmick. That's awesome. Just for a Gashapon toy, that's something super small. And this looks to be Kid Chi-Chi's helmet right here on a little stand. So that's pretty cool. I always like these little item Gashapons. I think they're really cool. And it's a nice little, you know, change of pace from getting characters all the time, getting some items from the Dragon Ball series. So that's pretty cool. Hopefully we get a clear image of this coming up here soon. This was something interesting for Italian fans here. Apparently in Italy, a ticket for an Ichibang Kuji is 16 euros with only 8 to 10% chance of winning a figure. It's not worth the gamble. Kujis are gambling because the lower price are worthless, and that's why sellers often give them away when you buy figures. Yeah, so obviously, right, when it comes to these different, right, Ichibang Kujis, and they have all the last one prize with like the towels and the mugs and the cups and stuff like that. They're super, super cheap, and obviously the figures are the main gimmick, but that definitely seems pretty expensive. I don't know the current Euro to USD like conversion ratio. Funny enough, I know yen a little bit better, but that's just because I'm interested in Japanese figures and looking at the prices and all that stuff. So, though, the whole point is obviously, you know, gambling and playing the, you know, the lotto to try and get a figure is not necessarily worth it for that price, and especially considering at that rate you'd probably have to buy multiple tickets, and at that rate it'd probably just be cheaper to buy the figure you want online. And ironically enough, me talking about the Ginyu Force with the Funko Pops earlier, this is the pose that I was talking about that this Ichibang Kuji set is in. As you can see, they are not in the Ginyu Force you know, pose when they all do the 5-man pose. I think this is when they pull up and they all line up, but still. Obviously, that other pose is super iconic. This was something interesting. I'm surprised DBZ Figures didn't cover this one, but our boys at Dragon Ball Arise are back at it again. If you remember, this is kind of like a quote-unquote hype beast Dragon Ball line, where these figures tend to be super, mega, ultra expensive for the quality that they are, where they're basically just the quality of a regular Ichibang Kuji figure. However, I will say, this Zarbon actually looks really good. I definitely cannot knock the sculpt on this one, right? The sculpt of the Zarbon figure looks fantastic. If this figure was more affordable, I would definitely cop this boy. I don't know the price. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to find any information on it. If I can find some information for the next video, I will. Or I've actually deceived you. I apologize. I forgot on my figure collection, they would probably have it, and they do. As you can see, this guy is going to be released in January in Japan, and he is going to cost 27,000 JPY, which I figure if we click on this, it'll tell us the conversion. Yeah, about $180 USD, excuse me. The water is convulsing with that price in my body because holy cow, that is disgusting. Apparently, there's also a variant of this figure as well, which comes with this guy? I don't think I've ever seen that Dragon Ball minion before. Interesting. The Henshin version. I don't know what this guy's name is. I've never seen that Dragon Ball character in my life. This is just listed as Zarbon. I don't know. You can fill me in the comments. Apparently it is 1,000 yen more. And apparently this one is... Okay, so they're both by Plex. But apparently this one is a Zeem online shop. I've never even heard of Zeem before. But apparently this is the other version of this figure. So yeah, I just wanted to bring up the price because these are always really overpriced. Even though some of them look pretty good sometimes, to be 100% honest with you. It's kind of a disappointment that they're not better priced. Moving on to Buhan and Vegito. Here is the actual Omocha Headshell page, which obviously we take a look at the boys' reviews of figures all the time because he kind of has the most comprehensive reviews of figures right when they release in Japan, giving us some nice little comparisons, giving us all angles of the figure. And I'll go through this pretty quick because obviously we have seen this figure a bunch of times in the last episode for IRL picks, but it is interesting to note, I don't think I saw this angle before. And holy cow, Vegito's hair looks so long. It's weird because it looks completely normal here, to be honest. Like, I didn't even notice that it kind of looked a little elongated. But then as you turn the head, holy cow, like, my man's got, like, mini Super Saiyan 3 on his head, by the way. Sorry if you could hear that. That was my water bottle. Why is his hair so long? I guess it's just because from the front and back angle, it looks kind of normal. Even from, like, this side, it looks a little bit more normal. But, yeah. Definitely kind of elongated, which is interesting. I'm wondering if it's just because it's supposed to be taking from this panel and it just kind of looks long that way. I mean, it looks even shorter in this panel that it's obviously based off of. Yeah, like here it doesn't even really look that long. That's so weird. Very interesting kind of trick of the eyes on that one, right? Like even here, I guess it does look a little long now that I really look at it, but I swear it doesn't even look like that crazy long. Obviously comparing it to some other different Vegito hair for some different Vegito figures, right? Obviously, we're just kind of scrolling through this pretty quickly because, of course, you know, we've seen this guy before. But obviously, when we take a look at Omocha Headshell's reviews, we get a little bit of more comprehensive review. And thank God, this was the guy who really needed to be good. Buhan, of course. And the boy Buhan looks fantastic. He looks great. They definitely knocked this guy out of the park. There is honestly nothing wrong with this figure, in my opinion. Here, obviously taken from this specific shot in the anime, right? Where his hand is kind of cocked back there like that. Boo's face looked great. True. I skipped a few words there, but the point got across, right? His body sculpt looks really good, right? Look at that face. So nice, dude. The M on his belt looks really good, right? Gohan's gi looks fantastic as well. Here's him compared to some other Boo figures. Definitely need to get this. This is a bit of an older one, though. Very, very cool, though. And it's nice to see that, obviously, you can actually have their foot and fist collide, which is really cool. Because, obviously, you know, with these Matchmakers figures, that's kind of the whole point, is to kind of line them up in this way. So it's really awesome that you can actually get, you know, that specific dynamic like this. Very, very cool. I'm definitely excited for these guys. It is definitely a little bit of a shame, though, because they are quite small, right? It's kind of hard to tell because, obviously, the figures that he's comparing it to are kind of small as well. But Dragon Ball figures are, I mean, even with Goku and Vegeta, you can see that they look bigger than Vegito, to be honest with you. So it is a bit of a shame for sure that they are kind of small, but still, definitely very happy that Buhan got a good figure regardless. Okay, so now we are finally on to the PowerUp Pack Gotenks here. I think there's also going to be another tweet of this later, so I apologize if that pops up. Actually, you know what? I have it right here. This is just 4K images of the packaging on the art, so we'll just take a look at this real quick. First of all, water bottle again, sorry. The Fenyo art on the front of this looks great. I really, really like the Gotenks and Ghosts art there. Looks great. You have this very nice powering up Gotenks on the back too. And of course you have the iconic Gotenks pose there. Looks super great, right? The art on these boxes is always really good. If we take a look here, you can see that the Gotenks and Ghosts look really good. Obviously, because this is a power-up pack, right? You do get the aura effect in the background. And not to mention, right, because this is in the box, you do get a couple of other hands It comes with a peace sign, which is awesome because you can actually recreate the art on the box. Of course, he comes with the hands that you can do the pose, right, like this pose right here, and of course the actual power-up hands. So all the hands that are actually featured on the art are in the box, right, because you get one fist here and one fist here. So that's awesome. That's super cool and literally like anti-deceptive. However, I would technically say that, right? It's not deceptive at all to the customer because the figure can actually do all that. But not to mention, I think Gotenks looks great, right? You guys know that I'm usually not the biggest fan of these Dragon Stars figures when it comes to like the face sculpts and stuff like that, but honestly, I think this guy looks really good. This is one of the best looking Dragon Stars Saiyans. That's true. That is what I was going to say. I was going to say Dragon Stars figures, though, that I've seen, and specifically Saiyans, right? Because I feel like a lot of the time, the more human, quote-unquote, Dragon Ball characters, like the Saiyans and the humans and whatever, their faces tend to look a little weird. But I feel like Gotenks looks pretty good. So, honestly, this is definitely a W in my book. And especially considering, right, that this guy is the price that he is, which, of course, if we go back here, scrolling to the power-up pack, is 28 bucks, which I honestly think is a pretty good deal for an action figure like this, right, with the pieces that it comes with, and of course the aura and stuff like that. Not to mention, right, obviously, this guy comes with the 2 ghosts. It is a bit of a shame, I will say, that the ghosts don't have a face, because obviously in the anime the ghosts do have a face and they look like Gotenks. They almost kind of look like there should be stickers included or something like that to kind of put on the faces of the ghosts, and you can see on the side of the packaging and such arts that we saw on the back. So it is kind of a shame that the ghosts don't have a face. I guess that is what you get, though, for a little bit of a cheaper price of a figure, but I still think that this is pretty cool, honestly. I definitely like, you know, this guy and the price point that he's at. As well, oh boy, I gotta find my tab. Where were we? Here we go. We have Boo, right? This is, of course, the Dragon Stars Boo, Super Boo. I said Boo so many times in that sentence. He looks pretty good overall, sculpt-wise. I do think his face is a little weird. It looks like almost his mouth is too far up his face, to be honest. His proportions are also a little weird. Like, his legs are super thick at the bottom and super thin at the middle. Definitely a little bit strange. But to be fair, Boo is a little bit of a strange looking guy. So I guess they can kind of get away with it because, you know, Boo kind of looks goofy no matter what. This guy, by the way, is $23.99. So pretty decent price, right? Obviously, he does come with a couple extra hands like we saw before to create a couple of different Boo poses. Not bad overall. Again, I think it's a pretty decent figure, right? I would still probably recommend the SH Figuart Super Boo if you want a posable figure to display on the shelf. But if you're looking for a Super Boo action figure, this will work just fine, in my opinion. We also have the final thing here, which is the Limit Breaker Gohan Beast. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the Gohan Beast, I hope you're not unfamiliar with the Gohan Beast. I hope you've seen the movie. If you're unfamiliar with the Limit Breaker line, right? The Limit Breaker line is a little bit bigger than these, right? So if we take a look at Gotenks and Boo real quick, just for the sake of their size, ironically enough, they cost more, but that's because they're articulated, right? For Super Boo, obviously, he's a little bit bigger. He's going to be 6.5-inch scale. And ironically enough, on the other end of the spectrum, wait, 6.5-inch scale. Okay, I guess they're not measuring the exact size, right? Because it's the scale of the figures, how they scale with the other figures in the line, right? Like their sizes compared to each other. So it's not going to tell us the exact size, but 6.5 inches is like the general average size for the figure, right? Obviously, Super Boo will be a little bit bigger, and Gotenks will be a little bit smaller. But the Limit Breaker line is a foot tall, sort of just giant action figure, I guess is the best way to put it. They don't really have any articulation except for you can just kind of rotate the arms in a full windmill, and Gohan could sit down, right? His feet can go like completely out in front of him. I only have one Limit Breaker figure because frankly, even though these figures are really cheap, especially for a full-size, you know, like foot-tall figure, the like quality of the materials is super cheap. If you buy these and you open one up, you can definitely tell that it's a lot cheaper than even the Dragon Stars figures, which are already pretty cheap. And I feel like they're honestly just meant to be very much so like just big toys that are cool because they're so big. And again, I guess because the material they're made out of the price is pretty good for the size. But definitely as a collector myself, Gohan's face is not doing it for me. I think the Gohan Beast hair doesn't look that bad from this side, but definitely from this side it looks a little messy, and from the front on it definitely looks a little bit strange. But to be fair, the hair does look a little bit weird from certain angles. So, and they did that same thing that SH Figuarts did. Is that something that was in the movie that I just missed? I swear, like, they have more spikes on this side. It's more flat on that side. Because the SH Figuarts one did, like, the same thing, where one side was more flat and the other one had more spikes. So, interesting, though. If you do just want, like, a giant Gohan Beast figure for your kid or something like that, though, this would honestly be suitable. I mean, I know if I was a kid and I got a foot-tall Gohan Beast figure, I would be flying that thing through the air, like, my, you know, with my hand, like, woo, Gohan, woo! You know, so, for that case, again, I think it definitely works for what it is. How did you get here? I swear I closed your tab. Alright, well, moving on from the boy Gohan Beast, this will be a quick little aside because I know I myself am fiending to get into the big news of today, which actually is quite a bit of different things that we have. So, we actually had some in-person pictures taken of the Resin Son family statue, which, if you are unaware, right, the Toei Animation Son Family Resin, this figure that we took out a little while ago, was finally shown off. And I'm not sure what the price of this is. I don't remember if I mentioned it in a previous video, but this was shown off at some type of event or in some venue or something like that. And I gotta say, this actually looks really good, right? Obviously, this will be a little bit more expensive because it's large and it's a resin statue, but this is a really good looking figure. I'm excited to see some in-person pictures of this guy when Japanese fans get their hands on this, to get some close-ups of the characters' faces and stuff like that. But overall, I'd say this looks pretty solid. It'll definitely depend on the price, right? Like, if this thing is $200, that would definitely not surprise me because it is a resin and it's definitely pretty big. If it is even more than that, it honestly will be a little bit disappointing, but probably not that surprising. So, very interesting nonetheless, though. I just wanted to at least include this in this video because I know we have gotten, like, no updates on this figure up until now. So, pretty cool. Moving on from that, let's talk about the Ichibang Kuji stuff. This is super big news. I am actually super excited to cover all of this because holy moly, ladies and gentlemen, there is some big boy stuff happening here. For the ratios, right, for these figures, they are perfect scenario. Goku is 3 and everyone else is at least 2, right? So that is 3 for the Umbrella Goku, and then 2 for Chi-Chi, Piccolo, and the tournament announcer. And then for the prize E, which is these, that is 8, right? And I don't think that that's like, you know, technically it would only be 8 total, so it'd be like 2 of each. I'm pretty sure that's like 8 sets. Don't quote me on that, though. I could be wrong on that. However, that's really good because not only will that mean that Goku should be really cheap when we're talking Japanese prices, but that will mean that these figures will be relatively cheaper because there'll be a lot more of them, which is really awesome. And not to mention, we have not seen what the smaller prizes look like, but apparently there's no towels this time. So that'll be interesting to see what the actual smaller prizes for this are. Oh, hold on a second. We're not to you just yet, my friend. This is what I wanted to talk about first. Ladies and gentlemen, I might cry. Genuinely might cry. I'm not even kidding. I'm choking up a little bit reading this tweet. Because of everything here. So, the February Ichiban show is confirmed, right? So that means that we in the US are going to be getting these figures, which is awesome. It's super exciting whenever we get an Ichiban show, to be honest with you. But let me actually move real quick. I know you're going to be like, oh, Gogeta, but let me move that tweet to, oh, I know, exciting stuff. Don't you worry. We'll take a look at that in a second. With these figures, right, they have been so overpriced for so long for Ichibang Kuji figures when they've come to the West and they've been available to buy on Big Bad Toy Store and Amazon and stuff. And it's not the website's fault. It's, you know, the, oh my gosh, what is it called? Not the RSVP, the, like, retail market price or whatever that is. The word is escaping me right now. I'm sure I'll think of it when I'm laying awake in bed tonight. But the point of the matter is, right, the prices that these sites are given, to make these figures be has been kind of ludicrous for a long time now. They've been really, really expensive. And I can safely say that this is one of the best priced Ichibang Kujis in a long time. Holy cow, these prices are immaculate compared to what we've gotten. I can't believe I'm seeing a $35 Ichibang Kuji figure in 2023. Literally, I'm dreaming. Somebody pinch me. Not to mention, right, that these prices are so good. They're actually releasing the last one prize figure here in the States, which is crazy because it has been so long since they've actually given us the opportunity to just buy it flat out and not have to import it from Japan. So it's really cool to see that they are treating this Ichibang Kuji right. If we go back to this page, right, on dbzfigures.com, obviously you can pre-order these figures now, right, for the actual prices that are listed on Baggy's tweet here, right? You can see that the World Tournament Announcer is $37.99, right? These will be coming out for us here in the States in May 2024. And don't worry, we'll look at the multi-angles in a second because I have those queued up from Baggy's tweets. We have Chi-Chi at, a $35 Ichibang Kuji figure. I can't believe it. I'm living in 2019 again, baby. Oh my gosh, or 2018, whenever they were. Because if you're unfamiliar, right, if you're newer to the collecting scene, Ichibang Kuji figures, unless they were a little bit of a bigger figure, were always 35 bucks. That was just the price that they were. That was just how it was with the figures that got brought overseas. Then they were raised to 36 bucks. Okay, whatever. Then a couple of figures got the treatment of being a little bit more expensive because they were bigger, right? Like the King Cluster Broly, right? The really big Dragon Ball Super Broly and Z Broly, right? Those kind of figures, right? They were 50. I know the Ichibang Kuji Cooler, right? The one that I have and I've done a review on this channel was like 45 bucks or something like that. And it's like, okay, they're a lot bigger than your normal Ichibang Kuji figure, especially Broly, right? Like that boy Brolic, he wide, you know what I'm saying? So there's a lot more material there. So I get it. But then that was unfortunately seemingly the beginning of the end of decently priced figures because, you know, from there on out, figure prices were just absolutely ridiculous with how high they were. I mean, I haven't even bought an Ichibang Kuji figure until a recent Dragon Ball set that was priced a lot more fairly, and that was only because the figures were a lot more small. So it's really nice to see that these figures are actually getting some decent pricing, right? World Tournament Announcer is going to be about 7 or 8.7 inches, right? Chi-Chi 6.7. Obviously, she is crouching down, so keep that in mind. Also, keep in mind, the sizes probably aren't exact because, like we've talked about in previous episodes, the sizes of figures that Bandai gives us before they actually release is never correct because of their funny measurements. I will say Piccolo is definitely pretty expensive at 52 bucks, right? I guess to be fair, he is 10 inches, right? 10.6, so like 10 and a half. But at the same time, that is still really expensive. I mean, he is the biggest one, and I guess he does have the whole like cloak, but still, that is quite expensive, right? Goku at $45 for the last one version, actually, which interestingly enough, they're calling another version. Maybe if they keep releasing last one figures in the States, that's what they'll be calling them. That would be really cool if this is sort of the, you know, bringing on of that. That would be awesome. But as you can see, he's 45 bucks, which I guess isn't terrible, right? Again, it's not the price that I wish all these figures would be, even though, you know, some of them are a little bigger and some are smaller, right? Goku is 9.4 inches. But I guess that's okay, right? It's certainly a lot better than the prices that they've been charging recently. Like, I could have seen this guy being like 60 or even 70 bucks, like, you know, with the previous Ichibang Kuji prices that we've had. And not to mention Goku himself, right, being at the $50 mark. I'm assuming that's because you get the giant umbrella included. So I guess fair enough that they're going to charge $5 more for that. So yeah, I honestly can't believe it. I really cannot believe that these figures are decently priced. Let's take a look at the high quality multi-angles for these. First of all, I know this is the figure that probably most people are excited for, Chi-Chi. I know I'm in the same boat, bro. Holy cow, an actual Chi-Chi figure. I really can't believe it, man. I'm super excited. I can't believe that it's $35 and it's a good figure, bro. And oh, man. I need to move on before I start crying, bro. Genuinely. Because I missed when I've looked at a figure and been like, man, I'm so genuinely excited for this, because I can be genuinely excited for it, because it is... Oh, I didn't even notice a power pole back there attached to his backpack. That's awesome. Because there's figures that I'm excited for all the time, but I don't end up buying them because they're just so overpriced that it's not worth it, right? And obviously importing comes with a bunch of other issues and, you know, fees and stuff like that, which I do still want to make that importing video at some point. I know I started that tutorial series and I will be finishing that at some point, but man, the announcer looks so good too, dude. Holy cow. Look at the back of my man got curly hair like me. He's just like me, for real, for real. That's crazy. That's awesome. He looks really good. From all angles, he looks fantastic. Here's Piccolo as well. Also looks very, very nice, right? Like I said. I like these shoulder pads, how they're a lot more round. Like, this whole figure feels very Dragon Ball, like OG Dragon Ball-esque in the way that it's sculpted. Where it feels like a lot less sharp lines, because Dragon Ball is very rounded in its art style. Yeah. This, I agree with Baggy wholeheartedly, bro. Yeah. Good Ichiban show prices, releasing the last one, Ichiban, for the first time since the Golden Ozaru. How many years ago is that? Yeah, who is this imposter company and what have they done with Bandai? If we go back to that page that we had up, Ozaru. Well, yeah, here. This figure. If you guys remember this, which I actually did a video on, it might have been on the main Dokkan Assets channel. The Sophovics from the Greatest Saiyan Ichiban Kuji set. I have all of these figures, actually. I have this guy, like, at the top of my shelf, because I love this guy so much, the big golden grade 8. This was the last time that we got a last one figure here in the States. And lo and behold, that was in 2019. I wasn't kidding when I said we're back in 2019, bro. We are so back. Holy cow. Yeah, 2019 was when this set released in Japan. Kind of crazy, to be honest with you. I think he was only like 50 bucks, too, for the States, which is crazy. I was so glad that I pre-ordered him, because he's pretty expensive nowadays. So, yeah. Honestly, man, I hope that they keep up with it. I really hope that these prices aren't just a one-time thing, like that was the case for the Dragon Ball Ichiban Kuji, where it was like, they were really good and honestly pretty worth it for the price. And then, you know, the next Ichiban Kuji set after that was overpriced. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Because even the Ichiban Kuji set that's releasing this month, which again, we'll take a look at some IRL pictures of that in a moment, is still like really overpriced. So only time will tell, man. But I'm crossing my fingers, man. This is the one opportunity that they got. I'm giving faith. I can't believe I'm giving faith to Bandai, but I'm giving faith, ladies and gentlemen. So let's take a look at these first, actually, because in the last video we talked about this guy, the February BOS Gogeta. Obviously, this is a super nice looking figure, and I have so many blue Gogeta figures at this point that I honestly don't need another one. But by golly, this guy just looks so good. Obviously, these are the special production images that they do these funny, you know, like backgrounds and stuff like that, where it's not just like, you know, the plain white background for the figure. And man, he looks so good. Holy cow. I might have to get this guy, man. He just looks fantastic. I'm really excited for this figure. The sculpt looks great, and the paint detail on him also looks good. I love the electric blue on the hair, man. So crazy enough, we even have the March production images for our prize figures here, as well as all of the stuff from NYCC. For History Box, we are getting Gohan, which is pretty cool. Obviously, this is the moment, I believe, that he lands to then fight Boo, which is pretty cool. We have the Solid Edgeworks Kid Boo, which, I will say, this figure is super basic, super plain looking, and honestly, not that crazy. But I gotta tell ya, I know me and Baggy have been mentioning this. I've been mentioning it on videos, and he's been mentioning it on Twitter. They've been doing this a lot, where they've been making Ichiban Kuji figures of under-commercialized characters, and then releasing, just a month or two after, a Bam Presto figure that's a lot cheaper than the Ichiban Kuji one, and they did that again, right? They did that with the original Ichiban Kuji Kid Boo that was from last year. The one that, funny enough, the more recent one got reused from. And then after that original one was the GX Materia Kid Boo, right? And now we have this one that is just released after the last Kid Boo, which funny enough, we took a look at him, I think, in the last video from the Boo Saga Ichibang Kuji. So, stinky, stinky Bandai with their anti-consumer practices. It's a little unfortunate, but hey, I'm happy that we're getting more affordable Kid Boo figures, because I don't even remember the last time we saw Pink Man get a Bam Presto figure, besides, obviously, the GX Materia one. So, definitely very cool. And I think I still need to get the GX Materia Kid Boo. Now that I think about it, I don't even think I own him. This, I am really excited for, and we will see multi-angles of these figures all in a second here. But the GX Materia Nappa. I gotta say, I'm not a fan of the effect on this one. It's not even really the effect itself in terms of like the sculpt or just the fact that it's coming out of his mouth, because obviously this is an attack that Nappa does. But it's the color. I swear it's not like ocean blue. Like, it looks like he's spitting ocean water out of his mouth. This might be the first GX Materia figure that I honestly just take off the effect piece, because it just looks a little weird on him. But the sculpt on Nappa, of course, this line being sculpted by the boy Varroque Varquel, still don't know how to pronounce his name. Immaculate. Fantastic, right? So, definitely expecting nothing less from how amazing the sculpt is. And to go along with the boy Vegeta, or to go along with the boy Vegito, to go along with the boy Gogeta that we just took a look at 2 seconds ago, right? This guy right here. We have the BOS Vegito Blue, which is really, really cool. Obviously, in a pretty iconic Vegito pose here, right? With him kind of cracking his knuckles, his hand, his fist in his hand like that, right? Looks great. Again, the electric blue on him just looks so nice, man. Holy cow, that looks good. I will say, it is interesting because the comment here does mention that it kind of looks like that the body is reused from the Clear Rise one. So, low-key, I'm kind of happy they can get the Clear Rise one. If that is the case, that would definitely be something I would have to, like, look at more deeply. As a matter of fact, let's actually take a look at that. We can just look at the boy Vegito Blue. Hopefully he comes up when we type in. Yeah, okay. Thankfully, the website adapts to our names. I think he is technically called Vegito Blue, but... okay. No, it is not exactly the same, right? Because if we take a look at the two of these figures, the Clear Eyes one has his fist the other way, right? Unless they just flipped it. I mean, that's entirely possible. But I don't think that the sculpt on the pants looks the same. Yeah, the sculpting on the pants does not look the same to me. It's very subtle, but it is definitely different. And the face is definitely a lot different. The eyes are a lot more bigger, I feel like, on the BOS one than they are on the Clear Eyes one. Both of them look good, but that is a good point from that commenter. It's literally the same figure. I feel like, honestly, just a better version of that figure, if I may be so bold. But very, very cool. Again, we'll see multi-angles of these guys in a second. Man, they've been cooking on these figures, though, I feel like. For the recent prize figures, I feel like I've actually been pretty excited for them, to be honest with you. So, pretty cool. Release weeks for Japan for February. Week 2 is going to be Vegeta and Zarbon. Week 3 is nothing Dragon Ball related. Oh, I actually just read this chapter in One Piece. So that's pretty cool. And then week 4, holy cow. Look at all this, bro. You got Spy Family, you got Sasuke, you got Gogeta there, right? You got, I think that's from Bochi, that character. I have not watched Bochi. I definitely need to. That's pretty cool, though. Dang. That's kind of wild, honestly. Moving on from that, though, this is also very big news. Not only is the US getting this as an Ichiban show, Europe is also getting this as an Ichiban show, which is awesome, because I know sometimes with Europe they get the Ichibang Kuji proper, where you have to, you know, like, play the lottery to get it, but sometimes they get Ichiban shows, and it's awesome that this time that is the case, because obviously that'll be a way cheaper way to get these figures for those of you in Europe. This is the estimated packaging sizes. I'm not going to read these out, but obviously I still like to include these in the video, because it'll just be, you know, when it gets, you know, it's nice that when it gets to your house, you'll kind of have a general idea, right, of maybe the size of the box. Apparently, there is no Ichiban show in Asia. I mean, obviously for Japan, they're getting the actual Ichibang Kuji, but this more so means in other Asian territories that aren't Japan, they sometimes get Ichiban shows. So that is a little bit unfortunate. Okay, so now we are on to the boy Nappa. Oh, man. Holy cow. Like, this is what I'm saying, bro. I think the effect does look a little bit weird. it's like, it's not even the sculpt. Like, the sculpt of the figure, or the sculpt of the figure, the sculpt of the figure looks amazing. The sculpt of the effect piece doesn't even look that bad. It's just the color. The color is just really weird choice. I swear it's not that color in the anime. I would have to go back and watch the scene, but by golly, the veins on this guy, oh my gosh, they're popping, bro. Like, all the detail on Nappa's muscle, the remnants of the Saiyan armor that's still there with his little gauntlets and his feet. Interesting to see as well, he's not flat-footed. He is, like, raised a little bit. So I'm assuming the stand will probably have pegs in it to go in there, or hopefully not, right? Knock on wood, that his feet don't have pegs that plug into the stand, because obviously then you couldn't, like, stand him flat-footed if he's even able to. But I assume you'll be able to remove the effect piece, because obviously for the most of these figures that is the case with GX Materia. But man, he looks so good. I'm actually really excited for that. They even got the little red, like, blood popping veins in his eyebrow. Holy cow, they cooked with the boy Nappa. Here is the Solid Edgeworks Kid Boo. The paint on this guy looks super blotchy, especially on, like, his shoulders. I don't know, he just looks super basic. I mean, to be fair, this is a pose that Kid Boo does hit. But even for the Solid Edgeworks line, okay, seeing this close-up at least, you can see there are a ton of scratches on his body, so that's nice for a little bit of detail, I suppose, but it is still definitely a very basic figure, right? And of course, we have Gohan here, which it is a little bit unfortunate, right? This figure does look pretty good. I like Gohan's little smile here, and I really like the gimmick of the History Box line, where it's like, you know, a little diorama almost, but this line is so tiny compared to other figure lines. And Dragon Ball figures with terms of prize figures are already so small. It's just a bit of a shame, but still a very nice looking figure. And here are the special production images for these guys. As you can see, kind of mimicking the scene where Gohan landed, giving Kid Boo a little bit of electricity and Nappa's attack. I guess it must be blue, bro. I'm going to have to go look that up after. But, oh, here, right, I forgot. Baggy accidentally posted the wrong images, and I was like, what happened? And this tweet is right here. I forgot I had that tweet pulled up in my links for this video. Apologize on that one. But here is the special production images for Vegito Blue. This is a very nice one with the BOS logo right there. Again, very close up, very nice. He is also in whatever rocky cave that Gogeta is in. Looking very nice, man. Again, the sculpt on this figure. Whoo-wee! That angle looks so good, too. Oh, man. That back angle, too. Oh, man. They're cooking with these, bro. I'm telling you, I do not need another Vegito Blue or Gogeta figure, but I'm finna act up, you know what I'm saying? Dude, look at this angle. Oh, that could be a profile picture. That's so good, dude. Oh, gosh. Yeah, here's a couple more extra of these. I'm not sure why these were included at the end, but yeah, man, such a nice looking figure. And oh, these are the corrected production images. We won't take like a crazy look at these, but I believe these are just some extra images that Baggy didn't include, and I think a little bit of color correctedness. It looks cool that it's so clear though, like the actual piece. That looks good, yeah. Nappa looks fantastic for sure. Gohan, right? Couple of extra pictures besides this one. We have this one with the very cool lighting effect there, and this one with a little bit of a shadow to his back. As well, we have the Kid Boo corrected as well. And moving on from that, some heights, right? Again, you can never trust these, but I guess you can say that this is the minimum height that these will be. Boo will be 16 centimeters. I assume he meant Gohan, and this was just a spelling mistake. 12 centimeters, Nappa 12 as well. Vegito 18. So Vegito will be a little bit bigger. By the way, I know this is not Dragon Ball, but man, I'm hyped for these two. I love the Toon archetype in Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm definitely going to be copping both of those, the Toon Blue Eyes and the Toon Summon Skull. Super sick. Okay, so moving on from that, again, we did have some close-up pictures from NYCC of the different Ichibang Kuji figures coming up, right? Obviously, we saw these, which of course we took a look at last week because Japan already got these. And a very, very nice shot of the display case for the upcoming Ichibang Kuji set with all the Namek stuff in it, with some close-ups from somebody else here. They took a close-up shot of Bulma, which is very, very nice. Very, very cool. This Bulma figure, man, I know a lot of people were really looking forward to Bulma, and by golly, they did not disappoint on Namek Bulma. Holy cow! They cooked with Namek Bulma, bro. This figure looks fantastic. I'm really excited to get my hands on this. Look at her square feet. I mean, that is how it looks, but it just looks very funny. yeah, I'm definitely going to have to try and get that figure for sure. We also got a nice close-up shot of Goku. I know a lot of people are going crazy for this guy. Super detailed looking Goku. I really, really like the way that this guy turned out. I will say his hair does look a little bit of a weird shade of yellow, but overall I think he still looks pretty good. I'm definitely going to be curious to see in better lighting what he looks like. But yeah, the detail on the sculpt is just, oh, immaculate. Very, very nice for sure. And then, oops, sorry, I meant to go back actually. We have, before we get to all that, Gohan Beast, which I'm kind of surprised that this picture, or this person took a picture of these and not Orange Piccolo. But this is what his hair looks like from the side. I know we were talking about that this figure looked a little bit weird in the initial production images, and yeah, I would say so. He looks really skinny. Like, he looks really scrawny. And I mean, I like the hair. I don't think it's terrible. I mean, it looks a little bit too bushy almost from the side, but it's kind of interesting that the top spike leans a little bit to the side, unless it's like jammed to the top because it's like somebody set it up wrong. I would assume normally it would be like the spike would go up because that's just how the Gohan Beast design is, but still very interesting. I don't think he's necessarily the best looking Gohan Beast figure out there. I think there's definitely better ones. I mean, he kind of reminds me of like the Grandista pose, but it's definitely not a Grandista figure in sculpt. So you can definitely let me know what you think in the comments of that one though. But unfortunately, because we don't have a close-up of Orange Piccolo, at least we can get a look at him from here. And of course, it is a little bit blurry because he is in the background. But man, this is looking good. I know a lot of people were really excited about this figure too. And by golly, they cooked with him. Holy moly, dude. I know everybody and their mother was really excited when they saw this because it's the same sort of sculpt style as Broly, right? The one that we've been getting with the crazy sculpted detail. And he looks good. I think he looks fantastic, personally. Again, since this Ichibang Kuji comes out this month, we'll probably get more pictures of all these figures soon. But man, they cooked, and I'm happy about it. So, we finally move on. Before we do that, actually, let's take a look at that tweet first. I know, I'm goofing on you a little bit here. Oh, actually, hold on. Before we even move on to that, I'm sorry. I know I'm goofing on you left and right here, brother. My tweets were a little out of order here. I apologize about that. I had so many this week, it was hard to get them in order. First of all, let's actually talk about this real quick before we move on. Man, I just did you dirty like 3 times. I'm so sorry. This is a quick one, though. Just something interesting to note about Frieza, right? This is a close-up from that picture that we saw before. This is really interesting because we were kind of wondering how the base was going to be for Frieza, especially in this pose. And there's no big, ugly base on the bottom of this guy, but it is 2 mini foot bases and a smallish stand for his tail, which is very interesting. So I don't think that there's going to be any problem with this guy in terms of balance. I think he'll be just fine with all these stands for support. But I feel like Frieza's leaning forward a lot more in the scene, because isn't he floating in the sky for this, right? I feel like his body should almost be like perpendicular with the screen, if that makes sense. Or if you were taking a picture of this guy to like directly reference the manga panel, your like camera lens would be, or not, maybe not perpendicular, I guess it would be parallel, right? With how he looks. And he kind of looks like he's leaning back a little bit. But that's obviously just because of the way that the stands are. So I'm sure that you could do something that kind of like attach something to make him lean forward a little bit without him falling over. But at the bare minimum, I'm glad they found a way to actually stand him up without him having some gross, ugly peg on the back of him, right? I'm happy about that at least. Here, this is actually a better picture of Orange Piccolo here. You can see that Frieza picture, by the way, was taken directly from this one. Goku's hair does look a little bit better in this lighting, by the way. And Gohan Beast actually doesn't look too bad from there. I don't know. The more I see this figure, the more I like it, man. I don't know. I still think his body is way too scrawny. And if you could, like, stick that head on another body, maybe I would like it even a little bit more. It does kind of look like it's hitting the ceiling, or at least a little light there, doesn't it? Very interesting. Let me know what you think in the comments about this guy. But regardless, though, a little bit of better lighting on Piccolo. Oh, man. I can't wait to see these guys. All of them, honestly. But this guy specifically in a little bit more HD images. Because, by golly, he looks good. I love the veins popping everywhere. The muscle definition. His face looks just like how he should. The different, like, crazy rips and tatters and, you know, detail in the pants. Looking nice. Looking very, very nice. Real quick about these guys. Specifically the Dragon Ball heights. is what I'm saying, man. You can never trust Bandai with these, right? For Vegito, it's 18 centimeters excluding his hair. So up to the start of his bangs. Like, why? What's the point of even measuring it then? Like, is it something that they have in production that they don't have the hair because it's like a separate piece that they glue on later to make the complete figure, and so they just measure it then? Why not just measure it when it's complete? I don't know. It's just so silly, man. Gohan is 12 centimeters excluding the base and the hair. That's what I'm saying. Like, then what's the point of measuring it if you're not going to give me the full thing, because the base looks like it's quite a bit, right? I don't know, man. Just so weird. Since Nappa's bald! I can't believe that's an actual factor. 12 centimeters is likely as is. Same with Boo's 16, unless they don't measure his head tentacle or something like that. I could honestly see it considering it's Bandai. Alright, so before we get to our final big boy news of NYCC here, first of all, this is a little bit unfortunate to see with the release of the GX Materia Frieza, right? It is a bit of a shame that Dragon Ball figures have been getting smaller and smaller. This is a comparison with a older Frieza figure. And even though the GX Materia Frieza looks fantastic, right? The sculpt on him is really, really good. It's just such a shame that he's so small, because obviously when it comes to prize figures, even though they're like all the same price, you know, they can be anywhere from a little bit large to, you know, a little bit small. So it's just a little bit of a shame that they've been kind of shrinking lately. This is a super cool comparison that I actually didn't even realize until Baggy pointed this out. Very, very cool that this is not necessarily meant to be posed with, like, the Broly from the last one for Gogeta. Although, maybe if they make a merge Zamasu, I don't know how that would work with the GX material line, because Zamasu has white hair, unless they make like his purple goop arm shiny or something like that. That'd be a little weird. But these guys are actually meant to be paired together for a Gogeta and Vegito figure team up. I have to get these guys if that's the case, man. That's just so cool, dude. It's so cool. It's ironic because the BOS line even does have like a Vegito and a Gogeta that kind of pair up a little bit in Super Saiyan 2, which funny enough I haven't. I've never opened them. So either way, man, that's such a cool little gimmick, right? Having them both kind of look at each other like that. I'm definitely going to have to get these guys and display them on the shelf like that, because, oh, man. All right, so finally, we are here with the SHF high quality images from NYCC from the Dragon Ball booth. Tons of very exciting announcements here. Let's take a look at the official pictures before we look at the actual pictures from the booth. So, Tamashii announced a bunch of cool stuff for Dragon Ball here at NYCC. We'll obviously see a couple pictures because they posted this. First of all, they had the Cell Max balloon back. And obviously, you can see the SH Figure Arts giant version of Gamma 2. I'm sure Gamma 1 is somewhere back there as well. But the first figure that they showed off, which actually you can purchase on Premium Bandai right now, is the Namek Vegeta, which is really, really cool. Obviously, this guy being from the Namek Saga. I mean, no duh, because he's Namek Vegeta, right? They call him the 24,000 power level Vegeta, which is an interesting naming convention for the boy. We can actually see that he is available right now to pre-order on Premium Bandai if you want. He is $65. We can take a look at the production images here. I know this figure has actually been a little decisive in the figure collecting community, interestingly enough. Do they have like the funny images? No, they don't have like, sometimes on these images for SH Figure Arts figures, they have like a big little collage of images here at the bottom. But he does come with the main body, 3 extra different sets of hands, 3 different extra sets of expressions, a folded arm piece, and interchangeable ears. So obviously that doesn't include the base hands that he has, which I would assume would just be the fists, right? Because he has these like hands that you can put together for, you know, like a pummel attack. He has the open palm hands there, right, for beams and stuff. And he also has obviously like the chopping hand, and then of course the crossed arm one. So I know a lot of people have been kind of decisive on the faces for this guy, which is pretty interesting. I've seen some people say, wow, these faces are awesome. They're very Dragon Ball-esque, right? They're very like that original Toriyama style, kind of stylized versions of the faces, right? And I've seen some people say, wow, these faces are really ugly. So, I don't know. I'm a little bit divided myself, honestly. Personally, I think that this face, if I may be so bold, looks awful. I don't know. I know it's like the basic smirking face, and maybe it's just the angle. Because like here, oh, this is actually a different head. I didn't even notice that. This is like his mouth closed when he's confident, right? This one is obviously the teeth grit, right? For a little bit more angry, right? And then we have the shout face, which I will say, I think the teeth grit one looks fine. And I actually think that the shout one looks pretty good, especially for here. It is very, very Dragon Ball stylized. That early Toriyama art style, which is really cool. Here's the gritted teeth face, which I think this one looks alright. I don't really, maybe the mouth could be like a little bit smaller or something like that, but overall I think it looks pretty good. I will say for this one, right, for his like smirking face, his mouth does look a tiny bit weird to me. I almost feel like his eyes could be bigger or something. But I mean, overall, I don't think it looks the worst. I probably won't be getting it anyway. So, you know, I'm talking about all this, like, you know, talking about the figure like I'm going to get it. Even though, you know, I'm probably not going to personally, because it's just not a figure that I'm interested in. But it is interesting to me that a lot of people are kind of decisive on it. So let me know what you think in the comments, whether you like this guy's faces or not. Again, we'll take a look at his proper pictures in a second here for the, you know, in-person pictures at the event. But he is $65. Again, keep in mind that will equate more like to $80 because it'll be $75 because they're always $10 shipping for this guy, and not to mention tax. I guess 65 isn't terrible for modern, like, premium Bandai SH figures. I mean, you do get, like, the Scouter as well. And then, of course, like you saw, there were the shots of him without the Scouter where, you know, there's a detachable ear, excuse me, where you can put that on. And then, you know, obviously, if you don't want the Scouter look, I guess it's okay, right? It's definitely not the best price. I think it could be better, but it could definitely be worse, for sure. As well, apparently, he comes out in June 2024. Which is a little bit unfortunate that it is that far away, honestly. But I think that is all the information that we know about this guy at the moment. The biggest change to this guy, yeah, because I was going to say, I'm pretty sure that there is another Namek Vegeta, right? Compared to the Scouter Vegeta, that's right, because that's technically Saiyan Saga Vegeta. That's what I'm thinking of. That's the other SH Figure Arts figure. The biggest change is that he has no tail, and he doesn't have the side and front plate covering his hip area, right? Obviously, in the Saiyan Saga, he had that on the armor, but of course, in the Frieza Saga, he doesn't have that, and it's just pants, and it's like the top half of the armor. It is kind of hard to tell, I agree, in these images if he has, like, the 3.0 joints. But according to the person writing this article, which I'm assuming is, yeah, Shinra, he says that it doesn't look that different to him, but, you know, when obviously we get our hands on the figure, we'll be able to tell. So, just some interesting little info about him there. I know a lot of you are seeing this one, and we're probably pretty curious about this, right? The Super Saiyan God Goku, the Saiyan of Virtue. So, let's go to the Tamashii Nation's Instagram page here. Before, again, we'll kind of end the video off with all these pictures from the event. Let's go to the Tamashii Nation's Instagram account to take a look at the official pictures that they uploaded, and the actual, like, promo image, I guess, is what it would be called. So here he is in the booth, right? Again, the official pictures taken. I know, interestingly enough, a lot of people have actually been a little decisive about him, too. Interestingly enough, I don't think that there's any different pictures, by the way, of them. I think it's the same ones that they posted on Twitter for Vegeta. Oh no, okay, they did have a couple pictures of the other booth where they didn't have the Scouter on him. Do they even have God Goku on here? They don't. They do have this guy, by the way, which I did want to mention. Okay, so this is just the exclusives at the event. I did want to mention, this was cool to see this in person, I'm sure. I mean, obviously seeing this in-person picture. Again, it is basically just the same sculpt as the original one. I know we talked about this guy a couple of videos ago, excuse me. I think that the clear dragon actually looks really cool, but I'm not sure if I'm a fan of the clear hair on the figure, honestly. I think I like the solid yellow a little bit better. It's still pretty cool, though, but again, I'm not a big fan of the face sculpt on that figure, to be honest with you, so it's a bit of a miss for me, personally. Is it lumped in with the... Well, we'll take a look at that in a second when we get to it. By the way, for the official Dragon Ball website, they did not give us any other information on Vegeta, unfortunately. I think they did give us a 360, though. That's the only thing that... Oh, no, it's not on here. I swear there was a 360. Well, either way, here's some close-ups of the different faces, if you're curious. Yeah, I don't know. I still think that the faces look okay. I guess it depends on the angle. That one, though, is still definitely not doing it for me. Here is the image that I wanted to show you, though. Besides, obviously, these, right? This image right here is a little promo image that they have for this guy. So, it's kind of interesting with this figure, right? Because... obviously, in terms of God Goku, this is the third SH Figuarts Super Saiyan God Goku figure that we have gotten, right? Let's go ahead and go to Super Saiyan God Goku. Yeah, I was honestly surprised that that came up that easily. Okay, so if we go here, right, we have this one, and then where's the other bad boy right here? We have the original one, right, which is this one. This one came out in, where's the year? 2017 as a Tamashii Nations Japan web shop figure. He costed around 5,200 yen at the time. And as you can see, right, it's a decent looking figure. And I like the head sculpt. I like the color a lot. I like the lighter orange on the body. But he isn't very skinny. Right? Like, he's a little skinny, I guess. But definitely, he's still a little bit more like regular Goku bulk. Like, he still looks like this is almost just the same body as, like, a standard Goku figure to me, right? And then we had the re-release with the event-exclusive one from this year, ironically enough. And he was on Premium Bandai. Interestingly enough, yeah. He came out at the tail end of 2021 in Japan, and then 2022 in the US. That's what it was, I believe. Unless they're talking about the old figure. I'm not really sure why they're listing two different dates there. Either way, though, this guy was on Premium Bandai because I'm sure you remember me talking about him in a video at some point. And obviously, this guy has the clear hair gimmick, right? Obviously, a lot more orange, right? A lot more of the anime-esque sort of look for Goku in terms of like the gi. But again, I feel like the figure isn't very skinny. Again, it just kind of looks like the normal, you know, like Goku body, I guess you would say, right? Now, with that being said, if we go back to the SH Figuarts Super Saiyan God Goku that they just released, by looking at this guy, right, let's look at him on the actual Tamashii Nations website because it's a little bit of a zoomed in picture. He, to me, looks a lot more slim. I feel like his body looks a lot more like the Super Saiyan God look, right? Because in the original Battle of Gods movie, which, funny enough, I'm actually going to see on Tuesday, that's funny. Maybe, you know what? That's probably why they released this. I was just going to say, it's the 10th anniversary right now of Battle of Gods. That makes complete sense why they're making a new one. I was like, why? This is kind of a random release, but actually that makes so much sense now that I think about that. With this guy, though, I feel like he looks a lot more thin and a little bit more lean than the other versions of God Goku that we've gotten, which specifically looks like the Battle of Gods version of Goku, because in that movie, and a lot of the art that Toriyama did, and a lot of just like the art for, you know, like the movies, I forget what you call it, like the production work for the movie, right? And even in the film itself, Goku looks a lot more slim. He looks a lot more lean. So I feel like that this looks a lot more like that look from the movie, which is really cool, because it's a different look for Goku a little bit, right? It definitely looks a little bit like that to me. I will certainly have to compare this guy with some other Goku figures that I have to make sure that the body is actually different, because it could definitely be a little bit of a trick of the eyes. But to me, this guy definitely looks like that. So you can let me know what you think in the comments. I will say the one thing that is a bit of a shame about this guy is that it does say that he is going to be coming out in July of 2024. Oh man, you're killing me, Bandai. Speaking of which, I don't think that they'll have this guy's display. Oh right, we already saw it on Premium Bandai. I completely forgot about that, honestly. That they had the date for him. It's kind of funny. I don't even think that it has the link to Premium Bandai. Yeah, it just says pre-order now on the official Dragon Ball website. They don't actually have the link to it, but like if we go here, right, obviously, thankfully, the Twitter account has us on lockdown. and he'll be coming out the month before. So it is a bit of a shame that we have to wait a while for this guy. I will say the other interesting thing to note about him is the hair, right? I feel like the hair is almost a little bit more like flowy, kinda. Like if we look at this one, right, the original one, I guess his spikes do kind of go up a little bit here in the back, but I swear it's kind of trying to do that same thing while also giving this a little bit more of a glossy finish, kind of like having the spikes almost look like they're flowing in the wind a little bit, but I guess this one did do that well enough, right? I guess it is basically the same thing. And obviously this one is literally the same as the other figure, so although to be fair, his hair almost kind of looks more straight to me, but maybe it's just because it's harder to see with the clear plastic. So I will say though, ironically enough, we've talked about a couple times that, funny enough, SH Figure Arts and Ichibang, Kuji, and Banpresto kind of like to do the same thing, where the Banpresto figures will release of an under-commercialized character, right after there was a Ichibang Kuji version of the figure to, you know, give you a cheaper version of it. And kind of the same thing has applied a couple different times with SH Figure Arts, seemingly, where they'll release a convention exclusive version of a figure and then they'll either re-release or make a different version of the same character. They've done that a couple times, so it's interesting to see that they are doing that again. So we don't know how much this guy will be. The only information in terms of where he'll actually be in terms of like where you can buy him is that it says released on the Tamashii web store. So I don't know if that means that he'll be exclusive to that, and that means that he'll be a premium Bandai. Because like if we look at Vegeta again, it says, this figure is constructed with the same movable shoulder joints that made pads, or armor pads that made the SH Figure Arts Turles a hit with fans. Interesting. I didn't know that. I swear it said where you could buy. Okay, I guess it just says pre-order now. It's interesting that it doesn't really have it. But to be fair, the other interesting thing about this site is that a lot of the time they just translate directly from the Japanese one, which is why, like on the official site here, it doesn't have the link to the premium Bandai link for Vegeta, because it's just translating the direct Japanese article. So it makes sense that it's saying Tamashii Web Store because that's a Japanese exclusive thing. So I'm not really sure. I would love if this guy was a general release. I think that would be awesome. I mean, we literally only have these pictures right now of just him at the booth. We don't have any other like faces or, you know, hands or anything like that for this guy. So definitely going to be interesting to see. And like I said, they don't even have him on Instagram, seemingly. At least I don't see an image of him. Maybe at this one, which, by the way, another image of the Super Saiyan Goku that I know we're all looking forward to so fondly. By golly, he looks good. They had a Dragon Ball section here, too, with Bulma on display. And the Bulma's motorcycle as well, the Hoi Poi capsule. And funny enough, Shinron that we were just talking about got a release. I guess this is the only picture of God Goku here. It kind of stinks that the lighting on his face is not that great, but yeah. Come join us next month when we unbox the new SH Figure Arts Super Saiyan Son Goku Live from Tamashii Nation 2023. Okay, so I guess that's Super Saiyan Goku, not God Goku. So we really don't know anything about this figure, which is kind of unfortunate. They really kind of left us in the dark on that one. So only time will tell on him. But let me know if you're excited in the comments below. And this was a super... I don't know why I was surprised, because I really shouldn't have, to be honest with you. But especially considering the fact that we got GT Kid Goku, we are also going to be getting GT Pan and GT Trunks joining the Dragon Ball GT line, which is really cool. Yeah, funny enough, here's the link to the article that we were just looking at. Here's some close-ups from Tamashii themselves. Obviously a GT Goku that we've seen before. Pan as well, also a good-looking figure. I think the sculpt looks good on her too. Fits the Dragon Ball GT aesthetic. And Trunks' sculpt looks even better. Holy cow, dude. They knocked it out of the park. I know a lot of people aren't necessarily the biggest fan of GT Trunks' design, and I'm kind of like just in between. I don't really have any strong feelings about it. But I think they did a good job making this articulated figure. I really like the fact that you can also have the piece where you can stick his hand in his pocket too. That's a really cool little bit, right? Hit, I know the Hit figure for SH Figure Arts also did that. So that's really cool. It's nice to see GT getting some love. You always love to see it, right? I am quite excited about that, honestly. And I think on Instagram they did show, I think it was the same images, right? We always got to check just to make sure, yeah. Very cool, though. I am hoping with these GT figures that they do, like, it's funny that they didn't even mention them on the official Dragon Ball website. It was only Vegeta and God Goku that they talked about. They didn't even, like, mention them. Oh, funny enough, I actually talked about the Arise Zarbon. It's literally just this. Nice. But anyway, in terms of, right, the GT gang, I'm really hoping that we get more GT figures, right? Like Omega, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, Baby, Super 17, right? All those guys being additions to the line would be really, really cool. I know a lot of people may not collect these super crazy, right? Because I know not everybody's the biggest fan of GT, but I mean, I'm sure most people like the Super Saiyan 4s. I have Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Vegeta myself. I mean, I know I'll get Gogeta if they make him, right? You know, Omega Shinron, I would probably get him to kind of have him duke it out with Gogeta. Maybe even Baby, because I just like Baby's design. I think it's really cool. Super Baby 2, right? So hopefully they make more, because this is definitely on the right track for sure. And I do believe that that was it for Dragon Ball. By the way, I'm very excited for my boy. Whoo, can't wait for him. It's the same funny time as Vegeta, actually, for the SH Figure Arts Gear 5 Luffy. Oh yeah, this was also the same thing that they had on the Instagram account. So with all that being said, let's actually finally take a look at the in-person pictures. These are from Toy Arc, by the way. I know for a fact that we have used their images on the show before. This is the balloon of Goku. That's why he looks so goofy. I thought that was Christopher Sabat for a second. But as you can see here, right, this is a giant balloon that they had at the venue, which is really cool. Obviously, his face looks a little derpy, but again, it's a giant balloon. I mean, like, what do you expect? The Tamashii Nations booth, right? They also brought back the Orange Piccolo from San Diego Comic-Con. I cannot imagine being the guy who sets these up, bro. That would be such a cool job. They have the SH Figure Arts Gohan Beast giant statue here. You can tell this is supposed to be the SH Figure Arts one because it has the joints, right? You can see that he has the arm joints there and the joints in his legs and stuff like that down here. I will say, this looks worse than the actual figure, I swear, which is kind of weird because usually when they make these giant like statue versions of the SH Figure Arts figures, I swear they look like just the same, but I swear maybe it's just far away because even zoomed in his face looks a little bit better. It would be so cool to have that in your house though. Oh man, dude, I'm so excited. So obviously we got some more pictures of Vegeta here, right? Of course, this is him without the scouter. I think a lot of people are indecisive about him because of also the posing on him too, with like the face on this particular faceplate is not necessarily the best. I do like how bulky his shoulders are though. Like, he's a pretty wide figure. It will be a little bit weird for posing because obviously, right, this will fit flush with the armor that's like on his chest for the shoulder piece. Because obviously you can see like that's kind of how the seam lines are, but obviously since these are on joints, you can move these, right? Like, that's why this one is kind of up a little bit. Although to be fair, the person who posed this shouldn't have put it like that because it looks kind of not good. I wouldn't pose it on the shelf like this. I mean, I guess it's maybe to show off that there's a joint that you can move that, but still really weird. It always makes me wonder if the people who set these up know the anime that they're from, because I would assume that they would have to get the right poses. I don't know, man. Regardless, though, that's Vegeta. I do still think he looks pretty good overall. You can let me know what you think in the comment section below. From that angle, though, I do agree the face maybe looks a little bit goofy, to be fair. But again, I think the Screamin' face looks good, and the like the gritting teeth face also looks nice. Here's Trunks and Frieza on display. I gotta get this Trunks figure at some point. I was not really like too crazy about him when I saw him, but then I saw a couple reviews on him, and I was like, I gotta get this, man. Here is the Frieza, by the way, the Mecha Frieza. Is there any more like, okay, so we kind of have a close-up of this here. So, if you remember, oh, we'll get to him in a second. If you remember, Baggy was telling me that what I was saying in the video that I talked about with this guy initially was not correct, in that he isn't actually an additional piece that comes with Mecha Frieza. Wait, is his arms always perforated? I swear that's only on the metal part and not the purple part of Frieza. I mean, normally it's not like that, but I mean on Mecha Frieza specifically, I still swear it's not like that. Interesting. Well, in comment section, you can correct me on that one if I'm wrong or right on that one, because I actually don't know. But I still can't tell. That's the worst part. If this is a separate piece entirely, I mean, what this really looks like to me is it's the bottom half of the figure, especially considering like the tail and then you rip it off and there's a different top half? Because, well, the arms are the arms of the figure because they're articulated. So maybe it's just a chest and a body? That's the extra piece. If anybody has any info, let me know, because I still can't tell, unfortunately. Moving on, though. Oh, man. We got to see this guy on display at NYCC, and holy cow. He looks great. Let me get to that close-up. First of all, the body sculpt looks fantastic. I mean, it is a very just, like, basic Goku sculpt, but it still looks really, really good. The close-up of his face, man. Let's get the one where he's centered here. Oh, boy. That boy looking good. Oh my gosh. They did a great job with this figure. I really, really like how the hair sculpt turned out. And I really, really like the eyes. They're maybe like a little bit long, but to be fair, he does come with multiple faceplates. And not to mention, I still think it looks really good. Yeah, I'm really happy with how this guy turned out. I think they definitely did a really good job with him. I know a lot of people were really excited for this figure, so it's nice to see that he turned out really well, in my opinion. I'm excited to get my hands on him. And now we have the GT booth, which actually we can see a couple more pictures of Pan. Obviously, and Trunks. Pan will be a little small compared to the rest of the gang, right? Obviously, Pan is a smaller character in general, but like, if we look here, right? Obviously, compared to Trunks especially. And I think she's even shorter than Goku, maybe. It's kind of hard to tell with the angle there. But interestingly enough, Trunks doesn't have a date attached to him either. I didn't see Pan's because the card was blocked off at the bottom of the image. But I mean, I think the figure looks fine, right? I mean, I'll be interested to see what other faceplates they include. But I mean, I think overall, like, it's fine. It has very interesting articulation points. I don't think the knees will get a lot of range of motion, to be honest with you, because of the way that it looks like it's sculpted with the joints. But we'll have to see, right? Obviously, this is a crossed arm piece that they have attached to the figure. And I really like for Trunks that hand in the pocket. It's really cool. Again, it's a gimmick that they started with Hit, so it's awesome that they have that as an ability to do that with the figure. And here is the GT Kid Goku. Again, we've kind of already seen this guy a couple different times. It's unfortunate that the cards are cut off there. I don't know why they didn't have them there included, but here's the superhero figures. Obviously, we've seen those time and time again, though. This is actually the... Interesting. That card might be wrong. Because this is the event-exclusive Shinron that's like the pearlescent one that has a little bit of a shiny paint job on it, and not the regular one that's like a matte finish, but this just says SH Figure Shinron. Interesting. Also, we have Bulma here, right? And not to mention the capsule cord, but the brand new one, the Tamashii store exclusive Kid Goku is on display, which you could get at this event and only at the New York store. We had Vegeta on display as well, which is really cool. Again, this is the one with the Scouter. It makes sense for them to have the armor like this there, but it kind of makes you wonder, seeing it not flush here, can it not actually like push down all the way? I'm not sure. Looking at the face from this angle, though, I can understand why people maybe thought it was a little weird. Oh, he took a picture on this one? What the heck, Toy Arc? Here as well, we also have a couple of different ones that we've already seen before, right? We have Ginyu, we have the PowerUp pack. The exclusive edition Goku, right, with the shiny hair, Final Form Frieza, right? Of course, some pictures of the boy, which I know everybody's really excited for, the Super Saiyan Goku, right, with his shirt completely off. The power-up pose looks great. This pose looks fantastic. The face sculpts on this guy look so good, dude. Holy cow. Obviously, the Kamehameha, very iconic pose as well. Every time I see pictures of this guy, I just get more and more excited about him. This is an interesting display, by the way. And the only reason why I say that is because, like, it's kind of funny because Gohan is such an ancient figure compared to the rest of these guys. This is the Super Saiyan Full Power Goku that was released last year or 2 years ago. This is the new Vegeta, right? That's like an over-the-counter release. This guy, he must be released in Japan because I don't think he's out in the US yet. The Super Saiyan Trunks in the armor. Krillin has obviously been released. But Piccolo, I think this is maybe the newer one, because I know there was an older Piccolo and they recently-ish, maybe when I say recently, I really mean 3 to 4 years ago, which is kind of wild. Piccolo is there. Kind of funny that he's just like standing in the back. But I think that they're probably going to make a new Gohan soon if they're having these guys on display, because this Gohan is a ancient Gohan figure, because they have not actually given us a Cape Gohan, Super Saiyan 1 Gohan in a really long time. The only Cell Saga Gohan that we got was the event exclusive one, which, funny enough, that would also support my theory about the whole thing with God Goku, with giving him an exclusive and then releasing him as a normal figure, because, you know, obviously Gohan got one, and Majin Vegeta did with Gohan too, funny enough. So that'll be interesting to see. But yeah, I just thought it was interesting because that figure is like one of the first SH Figure Arts figures, I think, if my SH Figure Arts history is remembering correctly. Here is God Goku, though, on display, with a cool little background. I don't know why all the pictures from Tamashii officially had his face not lit up properly, but if we look here on Toy Arc, you can see that I think that the face on this guy actually looks really good. You know, the very rounded eyes like he has in Battle of Gods. Obviously, his face is a lot more like equivalent to base form Goku's face. I mean, the body, again, like in terms of the actual articulation, will just be normal Goku. But I swear he looks leaner. Like, even the middle of his body looks leaner. And I swear his arms are a little bit thinner. I don't know. I like this figure. I know a couple of people were saying that it looked ugly. I think, personally, it looks fine. I mean, like, it's nothing, like, crazy, right? Like, it's not, like, anything that I'm like, oh my gosh, it looks insane, right? Like, I kind of feel like that about the MUI Goku and the Super Saiyan Goku. I'm excited for this figure, don't get me wrong, because I don't have, God Goku. I don't have any of them. And I like the way that this figure looks, you know, but it's not making me, you know, jump out of my seat dancing around. But I think it still looks good. So you can let me know in the comments what you think for sure. But, man. So this was just a little collage for the, like, thumbnail of the page of this website, I believe. But they had a little thing for Premium Bandai. Oh, man. I hate how they market Premium Bandai, man. It always makes me so frustrated, because it's like, oh, the official online store, figures and jewelry items ripped. By the way, they put an extra space there. That's a big no-no. Ripped straight out of anime you love. That should be a period, by the way. Premium Bandai has high-quality merchandise that will set your heart ablaze. Bro, I hate Premium Bandai. It sets my heart ablaze with hate, is what it does. How to shop at Premium Bandai USA. Register as a free member or NY. Wait for it to be shipped to your door. Wow, it's almost like every other website on the planet. Sorry, my bias is showing. Majority of items are only available at Premium Bandai. Pre-order only available during limited quality. Like, they make this sound like it's a good thing that it's exclusive to the site and it's only available for a limited time, right? And that it's online only. I don't know. Like, anti-consumer things they're gassing up to make it sound like it's a good thing. I don't know. It's kind of weird. It's just kind of a weird, like, marketing tactic. But regardless, though, that is everything that we have to take a look at today. I know this was a very big, beefy episode, but not only did we have all of the March production images, we had a ton of updates on previous figures, including the Ichibang Kuji, and obviously we had everything to cover here from NYCC with all of these different SH Figure Arts releases. Let me know what you are the most excited for in the comment section below. In terms of stuff that we haven't seen before, right? Like, obviously, I think I would say probably MUI, but of course, you know, like, we already, you know, have seen him a bunch of different times, and not to mention, you know, the pre-orders already, I think, closed for him, funny enough. I mean, ironic that I was talking about I'm not super excited for, like, God Goku in the way of, like, I'm jumping out of my seat. I think I am the most excited for him out of everything here, just because, you know, I like God Goku a lot, and I missed the first two God Gokus. So from a collector's standpoint, I'm definitely excited about that. For sure. But yeah, let me know, even in this entire video, right, besides just the stuff from NYCC, right, like, obviously we had these boys, right, we had Vegito shown off today, right, we had all the different prize figures shown off today as well, right, with the Gohan, the Kid Boo, the Nappa, obviously the prices for the Ichibang Kuji set, right, all kinds of fantastic stuff shown off today. Let me know what was your favorite thing in the comment section below. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much. You are an absolute warrior, a trooper. I love you so much, because I know this was a big beefy boy of a video. But I will catch you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Dokkan Assets out. Peace.